Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. Today we're going to be working on this 2010 Dodge Journey. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to replace your rocker arm assembly on a 3.5 liter. Dodge and Chrysler are notorious for their rocker arms going bad, just like Mopar to leave you with no car. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so first thing we want to do is go ahead and remove this beauty cover. Just lift up. Pop it up from the back. Okay, so looking at the engine, this is going to be your left bank. This is cylinder 2, 4, and 6. Your right bank will have 1, 3, and 5. We need to remove this air intake, that way we can get to that rear bank over there. Okay, so starting off, we're just going to get us a little flat blade screwdriver. So coming over here to the throttle body, we'll just use this flat blade screwdriver, push that red tab out. Once it's out, press down, pull it out. Now then, we can take this sensor off, just push in, pull it off. We need to take this breather tube off. Just rock it back and forth, should come off. Now then we have these two clips. Take both those off, and we're going to disconnect it up there by the throttle body. Okay, so where this air duct comes over here and meets the throttle body, right there is a flathead or a 8mm. We're just going to loosen that up. Okay, now with that loosened up and all our little connectors taken off, we can just work that off. Now we can just lift it right out of there. Okay, so looking right past our throttle body, we'll also have to disconnect this. So take your little screwdriver, get behind there, push it forward, just like that. Push in, pull out. Now this whole little wiring harness is disconnected. Coming to this side of the motor, right here we have two more little sensors we're going to have to take off. One, and back there, it's a little hard to see, but it's right on the bottom just like this is. All you'll do is just take your screwdriver, press that red tab down, push in, pull out. Okay, so same thing back here. You just push that little red tab out, pull that off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and knock out the hardest part now. There's two bolts in the back that you can't see, you'll have to fill. I'll get you a better shot of that with the GoPro. You can also go underneath the vehicle and you might get a better angle, but you can get it from the top just fine. Okay, so coming in here, we go right back here to the back. Okay, so looking back there, if you go right in front of your heater hoses right here, right back there is where it's supposed to be, but as you can see, they have left the bolt out of it, which is the hardest bolt to get, but this was done by a dealership, so they should have put the bolt back. So now we'll go to the other side and I'll show you that bolt. Okay, so if we come into the engine on this side, and you take your hand and go over, you'll be able to feel it. Here's footage from the GoPro. So you come in here, and then right there, right at this one. So coming in here, this is a 13mm. Now I can spin it out by hand. So next we're going to remove this bracket that holds the throttle body down. It's a 10mm up here. Okay, so coming in, right there's the bracket. We have a 13mm right down here. Okay, so we about have this intake ready to pull, but we have all these 10mm. We got 4 on the front, 1, 2, 3 on the back. Okay, so we have 3 hoses. We have this one, and that one. So just rock them off. This one came off by itself. Right back here. There we go. Now our EGR tube, we're going to take this off. I believe it's 2 8mm. There's 1. There's 2. Okay, so now with that off, we're going to pull that down. And there's this little sill right here. Rock it out a little bit. Okay, so if you look right here, this little sill, we're going to make it come out with it. There we go. Now you can just pull it on out. So it's pretty long. You can disconnect it at the bottom, but there we go. We got plenty of room. Okay, so now that we got everything freed up, you can just lift up. This whole assembly should just come right out, just like that. Okay, so we're almost there now. Now anytime that you have your engine open and exposed, you want to cover up these runners because they go straight down to your cylinder. And if you lose a bolt or something in there, you got to fish it out or else you'll tear up your whole motor and it'll be done. So what I like to do is I grab me some of these little shop towels. I'll take one, I'll fold it up, I'll stick it in there. Now there we go. If anything was to fall in there now, we could carefully pull it up and it wouldn't damage our engine. So we're going to be replacing both rocker arm assemblies, but I'll be starting back here on the problematic side. So just push down, pull out. Now then, there's these little Christmas tree tabs right here. We're going to get a tool to pull them out, but they may be so brittle they break. And if they do, it's okay. So looking in here, you look right there. That's those little Christmas trees. I got it all the way down. So you got one right there. So you'll just take your tool. You'll just come in here, just work it up, just like that. There's 3. Okay, so here's a better look at them. That's what they look like. You just want to get underneath, pop it out. Now then, we're going to disconnect our fuel injectors. They got the same red tab. If you can use your finger, pull it up, that's good, but it's stuck. So we'll take our little flat blade, raise it up like that. Now you can press in, pull out. You got one more to do. There we go. Push in, pull it out. So now then, you're going to do the exact same thing on this side right here. I'm just not going to show it. Okay, so I got this part loose right down here. I have to disconnect it right here. There we go, and lay that to the side. Now on this one, as you can see, it's held up right there. So we'll just take our little tool, pop it right out. Now then, we can move this out of our way. Just like that. Okay, so now we just take these valve covers off. And all you got is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the back, you'll have where these dips are. You got 1, 2, and on that corner, 3. These are 8mm. Same thing on this side. You got your 1, 2, 3, 4. And you got your little dips, 1, 2, and then this piece right here, we're going to have to move this wiring, but the third one is right there. Also, sorry, there is 8. So there's also one more in this corner. Same thing with the other side. And we're going to have to go ahead and remove these spark plugs first. Okay, so to take these off, these in the front have these 2 little tabs. Just get a deep 10. All you'll do, Come loose like that. And then the regular ones are also 10 millimeter. So now's a good time, especially for that back row. If you have not changed your cool packs and spark plugs, go ahead and do it now so you don't got to redo all this. Another good idea is if these are old, but these are brand new, to go ahead and put, this is cylinder 2, 4, and 6, 1, 3, and 5. That way they go right back into where they were. I'm just going to pull them out and put them in the order that they were. Just rock them out. We'll go ahead and get the back side. So we'll go ahead and take this rear valve cover off. Here's where those two back bolts go, just if you're curious. Okay, so we'll get our last one here. Alright, now then, we should be able to just raise up. Okay, so it doesn't want to come up, so we may have to just give it a little prying. There we go. Okay, so we have one more connector in the back. It's just got a Christmas tree that holds it in. If you can get it to unplug, that's great. It's being a little bit of a pain. Put that back over there. Now we can remove our valve cover. Now then, let's see if you can spot the problem. Okay, so if you guessed cylinder 3 exhaust rocker, you'd be right. Look at all that wiggle room. Okay, so this has a removal sequence. I'll throw that up on screen now. It's a little bit different for the front, but pretty much the same thing. You're going to want to do it just like it says to do it. So these are 10 millimeter. So we got one here. And two. Three. Four. Then we'll do 5. 6. There's 7. Now we got 8. 9. And 10. Okay, with that done, you can simply lift it up and out. Okay, so here is our old one. And right beside it, we have our new one. And we come over here to the cylinder 3. Look at the carnage. This is pretty typical of these engines. This engine only has 100,000 miles. I don't think this should be happening, but it seems pretty common for Dodge. Okay, so before we go any further, what we want to do is our cam is right there. As you can see, the exhaust lobe is actually sticking up. We want this intake lobe to be almost where it's coming up, so it's pointing upwards. We don't want it to be fully upwards, but if we do that, that will be the most neutral location for the entire assembly to go down smoothly. Okay, I went underneath it with an 18mm socket and turned it over till this number 1 lobe was starting to come up. Now everything's in a neutral position. So now we're ready to reinstall it. See how it's stiff, there's no play. And look at that one. Okay, so case in point, when I removed that rocker assembly, one of the lash adjusters, the little plastic piece fell off and it would have went right into that cylinder. But luckily, we had that there, so we can just pick it up. Okay, so we're ready for install. Now then, all we're going to do is gently put it back in. Just like that. And it'll sit in there pretty nice, just like that. Okay, so this should come with new bolts. We're just going to put them in there and run them down for right now. Get them started by hand. Then we'll torque them down. I'll go ahead and show you the torque sequence now. Now we're just going to run them down. Do not torque them. Once I know it's about to stop with the ratchet, I'm going to go ahead and stop because we got to torque these. Okay, so these get torqued down to 275 inch-pounds. I'm going to do it with foot-pounds, so that's about 22.9 foot-pounds. So let's get started. Okay, so now it's like reverse of disassembly. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Now we got 4, 5, 6. Now we'll do our back top left. This will be our 7th. 8, back right. 9, 10. Okay, you always want to prep your surface area before you put your valve covers back on. We'll go ahead and do that now with some brake clean. Okay, so you're going to do this for both sides. All you're going to do is get in here. If it doesn't come up automatically, just get a little pick, pry it up. You're just going to remove it. Now for these spark plug tubes, there we go. That one wanted to crumble apart on me. There we go, we got all 3 out. Okay, to install these, you'll have 2 different sides. You'll have this side that has this bevel going inwards. Other side, it's kind of flat. And what we want to do is this is going to go sit down on those spark plug tubes. So we want this to be facing down. So this side with the bevel will go right down here. We'll line it up, take a 34mm socket, and get it over it. Just barely tap it in. There we go. So we're going to do that for all 3. Okay, now that we have all 3 of those in, we're just going to take a little bit of oil and put it right there, just so it slides on a little easier. Now then, for the gasket, you'll have this sharp side right here. You want to make sure that gasket lines up with that sharp side. So we'll do it like that. And just follow the channel. It's super easy. Make sure it all stays. Okay, so this is ready to go back on. Okay, that gasket is a real pain. I usually love Velcro, but this is one time that you may want to get a different brand. So what I did is I took a little bit of black RTV and just dabbed it in a few spots. That way it would hold down the gasket as I could install it. Now it's on there correctly and we're good to go. All data doesn't suggest that there is a pattern, but you want to go to 90 inch-pounds. What I'm going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go ahead and put our spark plugs back in. Perfect. Now you just want to go ahead and connect all these back up. Put that little tab back in there. Take these little tree tabs, just pop them right back in where they were. If they broke, you can use zip ties. Go ahead and put our fuel injectors back on. Push it in there. Push the red locking tab in. Give those a little shake to make sure they're in there. Okay, so now we can work on this side. Take this dipstick out. Okay, so we are in fact going to have to move this alternator. So holding this wire loom down, we're just going to pop this up. Got that one out. Just pop that one out. Here's our lock tab. Push down, pull out. Make sure your ground cable is off. Okay, you want to go ahead and remove your negative side cable, 15 millimeter. And we're also going to remove this one. That off. Okay, so here's our alternator. If we look right down there, that is our idler. I'm gonna have to get a 15 millimeter put on it and then pull towards you and remove that belt. Now I'm not going to be able to record this, but you should be able to do this. Take this wire off. You need a 13 millimeter. Now we're freed up right there. Okay, for the alternator, you got 2 bolts. You got one here and one right back here. There's one. 2. Long bolt goes up front. So now we should be able to just rock this on off. Okay, so now we can get to these last few bolts. There's the old, there's the new. Okay, so just like the other side, we have a certain pattern that we want to remove this in. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, this is ready to come out. Before we put this back in, we're going to give it a nice little clean. So now we'll just stick our new one on. Now remember, the side that has the little notches in it will go towards the front of the motor. Now we get our new bolts. Okay, now that we got all these ran in by hand, we're just going to run them down. We're not going to torque them. Okay, so now here's the torquing sequence that you need to do. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll torque them down. All right, there we go. We're going to torque these down the same way. We're just going to run them down, and we're going to torque them. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So with the intake manifold removed, we want to clean this up real good and give it a nice clean mating surface. So just use some brake clean and a plastic scraper. Okay, now that you got your surface cleaned, all you gotta do is flip this thing over. Here's your old gasket. I'm gonna get a pick and pick that out. So just get you a pick, just get it in there. Don't mar anything, of course. Just slowly take it out. Now we'll take our new gasket, line it up, press everything in, just like that. Sorry, I didn't get a good shot of it, but all you do is take your pick, don't mar anything, pop the old one out, and now we got the nice new one in. We're ready to go. Okay, we need to go ahead and put our wiring back on. So our fuel injectors, go ahead and plug those in, make sure they get a nice little snap. Push your red tab down once you do. So put it on there, snap, press red tab in. Go ahead and put our cool packs on. Now remember, these outer two are the ones that had the long posts. And they are plastic, so just be careful when running them down. Okay, so we'll just plug these back in. Now then, these little Christmas trees that hold the wiring, just push them in. There we go. We got our PCV hose. Just pop that baby back on. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put our alternator back on. Okay, so now we'll put the intake back on. We just gotta remove our rags. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run down these 10 millimeters. Okay, so go ahead and run that last bolt in. Now you want to connect that wire back up to your alternator. Should just slide right back on. You also want to put the nut on hand tight and put this clip back in. And just run it down with your ratchet. Now then, you can put the protective boot right back over it. Now you just want to put your belt back on. Go ahead and put your breather tube and everything back on like it was. And then don't forget about the bolts right back there in the back. But if you found this video helpful, please leave me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.